all, Josh here, and this is me fulfilling my promise to bring you videos that are not movie reviews for the next couple weeks until something worth reviewing comes out. So, this is the first in that series, or maybe the second if you count the top 10 video where I announced that. But regardless of the point, this is my review of The Lightning Thief, which is book 1 in Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson and the Olympians series, which, as to my knowledge, I've gone into the bookstore many times and seen this on the shelf, and as soon as I saw that there was a movie tie-in edition, which I must admit I am a sucker for, I decided now would be as good a time as any to review it. I like fantasy, I love the Greek gods, and I do think the movie, or the movie trailer at least, looked pretty fun. So, why not, right? Before I start this review, I do want to state that I know this book is meant for younger viewers, but at the same time, I do think good books are timeless. Perhaps not in regression, you wouldn't want young kids reading something like Crime and Punishment, but I definitely think it works the other way around. So, let's get on with the review. I won't really summarize the story because I think you can easily look that up online and it's just going to waste time in my video. Suffice to say that Percy Jackson, normal everyday American kid, finds himself amongst the Greek gods in a modern day vista and has to go on a quest with a few buddies and some powers. It's a pretty typical plotline, admittedly, but it is meant for younger viewers, and it is basically just a fun adventure story. That's really the best way to describe this book. The characters, I think, are pretty shallow, but on the same hand, they are a lot of fun to hang around with. They make some good jokes, great sense of humor in this book, and they really suit their purposes. The story itself has a lightning fast pacing, and I know, oh, I didn't even realize I made a pun there. It has a lightning fast pacing, and it really keeps that going straight until the end. Maybe drags a little bit on the last couple pages, and it's clearly setting up for another book, and a series, of course, because this is developed into a multi-book series. But that's no problem, because I would be willing to read the next books. It is a very short read, and a very easy read. It's only 300-something pages, and it's not very small text. And, yeah, like I said, it'd be perfect to pick up if you just want something to read, maybe on the go, or you say, I need something for this weekend. A weekend read is actually how I used it. And it's pretty cheap, no limitations there. Otherwise, like I said, I think the story has a really great pacing, kept me entertained throughout, great comedy. The action scenes are actually written quite well. I was kind of surprised at that, because that is something a lot of books struggle with, and that is actually something this book does very well, admirably well so. Lastly, though, I do have to say that I think the pacing is somewhat to the book's detriment at times when you want a little more detail, without spoiling anything. Most of the locations they go to, particularly the main Camp Half-Blood that is described on the back cover, is it's a really fun place to be. There's some really great characters that inhabit it, but you don't spend enough time there to really form as much of a connection as I would like. That said, if they expand upon it in later books, this really isn't a hindrance because these books are cheap. You can easily read them, and I don't really have a problem with this otherwise. One thing I do want to say, I have to mention, is the book's really hilarious and inventive take on the Greek gods being in modern day. Dionysus is a drunk, Poseidon is a surfer dude, and generally, these make you giggle. I won't spoil any more of them because that is half the fun of the book. This book really does bring the discovery aspect of a lot of fantasy novels to the forefront. Most intros to fantasy novels have this discovery element, but the Percy Jackson, the Olympians, Lightning Thief has it in spades, and it's definitely one of the things that attracted me to the book, outside of seeing the inventive modern takes on the Greek gods, like I said. Overall, should you read Percy Jackson, the Olympians, Lightning Thief? Maybe you want to wait for the movie? I suppose that's okay, but frankly, you could read this book very fast, even if you're really busy like I am. And it's cheap, it's good fun, it doesn't feel like it is being written and for children per se. You can definitely tell it was, but the writing is very snappy and smart. And overall, there's a lot of references I don't think younger kids will get, and if they do, they're pretty astute kids. So overall, yes, you should read Percy Jackson's and the Lightning Thief. It is not the best novel ever written, but it's definitely a lot of fun, definitely something I look forward to reading more of, and I hope the movie can live up to this fun adventure spirit that it portrays.